Good morning, viewer. Welcome to our Fusak TV. Here's the breaking news. Yes, today, 6 days after a massive 7.8 magnitude earthquake rocked Turkey and Syria, the number of dead is staggering. Drone footage and satellite imagery have conveyed the stark reality of widespread destruction in an area that straddles two very different nations. The scale of the disaster is enormous. We have done a bit of mapping of the size of the affected area, said Carolina Hall, Director of Disasters, Climate and Crisis at the International Federation of the Red Cross. It is the size of France. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said Thursday that we have not yet seen the full extent of the damage and of the humanitarian crisis unfolding before our eyes, while estimates from the World Health Organization suggest up to 23 million people could be impacted by the natural disaster. Once search efforts have ended, attention will turn to longer-term reconstruction. Turkey has suffered earthquakes in the past and has rebuilt. But how much can be learned from this history, and will these lessons be implemented? And will the same efforts be matched across the border? The death toll broke the grim milestones above 23,000 on Saturday as it continues to climb. So to have feelings of anger and resentment, Turkey is no stranger to earthquakes, and many feel that the government failed to prepare for another catastrophic event. The frustration dogs Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan as he made a whistle-stop tour of the Kahramanmaraş region near the epicenter of the deadly earthquake on Wednesday and Thursday. Erdogan defended government's response, admitting to shortcomings before stressing that it is not possible to be prepared for such a disaster. He also announced that the government's target was to rebuild in 1 year. Through experts told to the reporter it could take much longer. Major earthquakes such as this are infrequent, but many in Turkey are still harrowed by memories of 1999 Izmit earthquake in the Marmara region. Ajay Chibbar, an economist who was World Bank director for Turkey when that 7.6 magnitude quake struck 2 decades ago, told to the reporter it's like a bad movie come back again, similar to this week's event that tremor struck in the early hours, but it occurred in the country's northeast, a densely populated area closer to Istanbul. He said it lasted around 45 seconds, leaving more than 23,000 dead and an estimated 7 lakhs people homeless. Flying into this region in the immediate aftermath, Chiva told to the reporter he had not seen that much devastation before. He recalled traveling in with the Japanese and German ambassadors at the time, who told him, "This looks to us like World War II. Buildings flattened like pancakes were among the apocalyptic senses Chiva encountered in 1999 in the city of Golkak, where a naval base was located. He remembered seeing submarines that were tossed up to of the water, lying 300-400 feet of a mountain. You could see submarines sitting there. It was unbelievable, and what I am seeing now is just radio, he said. Some may question if the Turkish president's current target of a year for reconstruction is achievable, given he also said that more than 6,000 buildings had collapsed. But Chipper pointed out that Turkey is capable of moving very, very swiftly if they can get their act together on this. Chipper helped implement a 4-part recovery plan in the wake of the 1999 disaster that provided cash to residents aid in reconstructing infrastructure and housing, established an insurance system, and developed an organization system that cascaded from the national level down to the community for overall coordination efforts. Compared to disasters around the world, it was one of the most rapid reconstruction and recoveries that I ever saw, Chibbar said. He added that the majority of the work was completed in 2 years. Ismail Baris, professor of social work at Istanbul's Üsküdar University and former mayor of Golkak at the time of the quake, told to the reporter in an email that in addition to the collapsed private and public buildings, the city's water transport pipes, water supply networks, sewage systems, stormwater system were completely destroyed, as well as 80% of the city's road. He added that the full reconstruction of the city took 4 years. However, much of the reconstruction then was aided by the Turkish army, which was brought in when many local administration collapsed. Chivar said this enabled the rubble clinic to be done quickly, but Izmit is in the heartland of Turkey, said Chivar. Many could live in the area hit by the earthquakes, and bringing in the army may cause problem. While disaster like this wreak havoc, they also create opportunity to prevent such havoc being wrought again. There is a man-made part of every natural disaster, according to Chibbar. Earthquakes are inevitable; their effects are not. Chibbar said he saw this point illustrated after the H-Smith earthquakes in 1999. You had have one building completely wrecked, the next building completely flat like a pancake. The same sights can now be seen in Turkey's Gaziantep. For Chibbar, this is the result of choices. There is an earthquake, but it need to be a disaster to this scale unless it is man-made, and the man-made part comes from the lack of a proper building code being enforced. There is no reason these buildings should have collapsed that easily. Some of them were built only a year or two ago, he said. Kelman also stressed that disaster create the opportunity for things to be done differently. He hopes that quake can be used as a spur for disaster diplomacy, which asks whether or not dealing with the disaster in any way can end conflict and create peace. However, not all governments choose to take this opportunity. We do have examples where people have taken the opportunity to say there has been a disaster and we want to help people. So let's try to reconstruct in such a way that we are supporting peace, Kalman said. At the moment, I do not see either government responding in that way, and I do not see the world responding in that way. Beyond the report for TV.